Welcome in, everybody. It's the Coach Matthew Mitchell Show. I'm your host, Coach Matthew Mitchell. We come to you each and every week, helping you move forward in your personal growth and your leadership journey, teaching you the winning tools: honesty, hard work, and discipline. An incredibly powerful leadership system that has helped me build two very successful Division I women's basketball programs, and now is helping me coach in the business and athletics world and help teams perform at their highest capabilities, all while learning how to use the winning tools. You can find out how to engage with us and how we can step into your life and help you move forward at CoachMatthewMitchell.com. We're speaking, we're coaching, consulting, we're putting on workshops. We have a very popular workshop going on right now that we're delivering. It's called the Ready to Win workshop, where you can learn a lot of the lessons in our USA Today best-selling book, Ready to Win: How Great Leaders Succeed Through Preparation. If you're one of those folks that bought a copy that helped us get to the USA Today bestseller list, thank you very much. And if you don't have your copy, you can find one anywhere books are sold online, and please order your book today. It's helping people understand that preparation can powerfully position you to win. Great book. The workshop is very popular, getting great reviews from everyone we're engaging with on our Ready to Win workshop. So you can find out all the ways to engage with us on CoachMatthewMitchell.com, and I hope you will do that. We would love to work with you and your business and your team, and that would be our absolute pleasure to do. Back when we were promoting the book in the fall, we had a virtual summit available to people who bought the book, and we did interviews with some incredible leaders. And I've been sharing some of those interviews with you, and I have another one to share with you this week. And it's from NBA guard from the Houston Rockets, Reed Shepard. Reed Shepard was the third pick in the 2024 NBA draft by the Houston Rockets. He was able to achieve that incredible draft position by his fantastic freshman season at the University of Kentucky. And Reed and I go way back. His mom and dad were great players in their own right at the University of Kentucky, and being the head women's basketball coach at Kentucky for 13 years, I had the pleasure of getting to know the Shepards well. Reed's mom, Stacy, and I did some work with an unbelievable nonprofit that she runs down in London, Kentucky, and just a great family. And you're going to hear in this interview, you're going to hear the maturity, and you're not going to be surprised about the success that Reed's had when he shares some of his insights on how preparation helped him become the player who he is today, and how it's going to fuel the player he wants to be in the future. But Reed was the National Freshman of the Year, named by the United States Basketball Writers Association and the National Association of Basketball Coaches. And he was the SEC Freshman of the Year at Kentucky. And being around Lexington and being around the university, I don't remember a player that was more popular. I loved, a friend of mine said he was getting his hair cut at the barber shop one day, and the barber asked a young boy, what are we doing? How do you want your hair cut? He said, could you cut my hair to make it look like Reed Shepard? And that's how popular Reed was to so many young people around, and older fans as well. Just really inspired the Big Blue Nation. So it's a great interview, some great leadership nuggets here for you, and ways that you can learn how preparation can powerfully position you to win. Let's listen now to my interview with Reed Shepard. Well, we're so excited to have our first guest, Reed Shepard. Thank you for joining us on the Ready to Win Virtual Summit. Really appreciate you. Thanks for being here. How's it going?
I'm doing good. Happy to be here. Thank you and your team for allowing me to do this. I'm super excited.
Yeah, we're glad to have you. And We talked a little bit about in your introduction before we brought you on about all of your accolades and all of the fantastic stuff that's happened for you. And I want to just start at the beginning, Reed. I want to start with the beginning of your basketball journey and how you fell in love with the game. And can you just take us back to the very beginning of how this all started to unfold?
Yeah, for sure. First off, I can't remember a time I haven't been playing basketball. Basketball is really important uh, to my family. My mom and my dad and my sister all play basketball. So growing up, I was always in the gym, whether it was with my sister Madison or mom and dad, even if they were just coaching. So growing up, I felt like I always had a basketball in my hand. I was always in the gym, and I love the game. I love to compete. So I fell in love with it I don't even remember when I fell in love with it.
You
It's
don't
just
remember not loving it. You
I
always
know
loved it.
that's right.
Yeah.
I've always loved it, and it made it better because I was able to play all sports growing up. I played basketball, baseball, football, and soccer, and in about 6th grade, I stopped playing all of them and really just stuck with basketball. And that was the moment where I went from loving it to being, like, obsessed with it. And at that moment on, it was strictly basketball, and I just loved it ever since, and I loved it ever since I can't even remember. Like you said, I haven't been in love with it.
You know, a lot of people are familiar with your parents' ties to Kentucky basketball, but I'm going to drop a little bomb here that maybe only you and I know. Madison impacted Kentucky women's basketball because at Campbellsville we played a close scrimmage one time, and they came in right after Christmas, and we were not prepared, and they beat us, and I'm sure that was discussed a little bit in the Shepherd
Yeah,
household.
yeah. She still talks about it, coach. She still talks about it.
That was a good day for Campbellsville. And what was crazy, that was like on a Wednesday or Thursday, and we ended up, I think, beating Tennessee on
Yeah.
day or something. So they got our attention. But Madison, she's a good player too. So basketball was important to your family. And when did you start to realize? Was it 6th grade, or was it a little later when you started to realize that you really had some giftedness and some talent for the game?
Yeah, I think, I would say later. I definitely think it was later on, like 8th grade on to into high school, when you really start going and playing travel basketball and getting to travel to different states and play against other competition of names of kids that you hear that are kind of top of the class and stuff like that. So being able to travel as I got a little older to different states and just playing different AAU tournaments. And having success with my team and winning and just and doing all of that stuff is really when I started to take it even more serious because I realized that I had a chance to do something pretty cool and be pretty good at the game of basketball.
So once you realized talent, uh, do you remember a time early in your career where was it your parents who were coaching you or another coach, or just you started to realize I need to add some preparation and I need to start working on my game? And what did that look like early in your career?
Yeah, that was dad's biggest thing growing up. He was huge on being ready to play, being prepared to play. And he did it when we were young. We were little guys running around in elementary school. We were 5th grade, and he would be doing our warm-ups, and, like, he would be yelling at us, throwing the ball at us hard, like, catching it, going full speed, and as simple as it sounds, like, he points it out all the time. You watch warm-ups now, and you can tell if a player or a team is ready to play.
Mm.
And for me, having him do that since I've been a little kid, like, now every time I go and warm up before the game, I get not just my mind prepared, but my body prepared by going full speed, by shooting game shots and passing as hard as I can like you're going to in a game. So I think, like, with dad, that's been a huge thing of his, and it's helped me so much along the way because every time I go out before a game, it's you go really hard in warm-ups, and try and get the first wind out of the way and try and break a sweat before you get onto the court.
We always shared with our team, and now we share with our clients that don't ever confuse simple with easy. And sometimes the simple things, like what you just described, doing the simple things really well, can prepare you to and get you ready to win. So I love that. That's really powerful. So now you you start to realize that you have some talent. Your preparation's been important. Talk to us about that journey of being a high school player that's well regarded and people believe you can play at the highest level. And what was it like going to Kentucky? Did you want to go to Kentucky? Was there a different path maybe? Was it real obvious that you were going to go? Talk to us about that transition from high school player to how you had to get to a college player.
Well, I mean, it was being from Kentucky, it was a dream to play at the University of Kentucky, just like any little kid that plays that's from Kentucky. And knowing the success that Kentucky's had, and of course, mom and dad both playing there as well, and just growing up watching them play, watching Coach Cal and seeing him when I would go to games or practices with dad and just being able to be there as a little kid. It was always a dream of mine. So when I finally got that opportunity, it was so cool for me and my family. And the preparation was the same from going to high school to Kentucky. It was, I wasn't expecting anything. I didn't change anything. I didn't just because I had committed to Kentucky, I didn't stop going and working out and stop trying to be the best player that I could be. I kept doing that and I stopped worrying more about everything else and just was worrying about being the best player that I could be. And going in, I didn't expect to play. I didn't expect to I didn't know what to expect. I just knew that I was gonna continue to do what I have always done and get in the gym and work and just be prepared for anything that gets thrown my way. And I think that really helped me going into the summer at Kentucky.
Such a great message for our audience today about how focused preparation can keep you grounded and keep you moving forward. And I just love the concept of when we think about, instead of trying to be the best, we think about being our best. I just try to be the very best player I can be, and you just echoed that. And I think that's so powerful. So now you're on campus, you don't know what to expect, and the bullets start flying, so to speak. You're in practice, and at what point is there any light bulb moment like, I'm ready for this, I am prepared, I can make a contribution, I can play? Talk to us about that.
The summer that I was there, we were able to go to Canada and play in some summer games before the season started. So we kind of had an advantage to the beginning of the year because we had a certain amount of practices before everyone else could practice. Um, so really in Canada, when we were playing and I kind of got in and started playing pretty well, and just making the right plays and doing all the little things that can make a team better. And just hearing kind of how Coach Cal was talking to me about it. After that, I was like, okay, Reed, you have a chance to maybe not play a lot, but to give something to this team. And I was perfectly fine with that as long as I could just do something to help the team. That's all I wanted to do. And it was an unbelievable year, and being able to do everything that I did. I'm super super thankful for that, and it was an awesome year.
First big game in Chicago, what were you thinking heading into that game? Just do your best. That was an amazing night. I was watching that and I was like, wow, Reed is really got something going, something special going here. Let's just quickly talk about that big game.
That's one of the games, like, when you're a kid that you love to watch. You're like, it's the first, like, big game of the year. It's always a great game, and that's just something that you always look forward to watching as a kid. And just being there was so cool because I had watched it so many years in a row. at home and always cheering for Kentucky and wanting to play for Kentucky. And then now I was at Kentucky playing in the classic. So it was really cool. And, going out, it was nerve-wracking the first when you ran out and the first time checking in, you're like, "Okay, we're playing Kansas in the classic that I've always watched." So, but no, going out and just trusting everything that you've done, knowing that you've worked your butt off to get here and you're prepared for this, all the little things that you've done, going to the gym, getting ready to play, your warm up before the game. You know you're prepared, you know you're ready. So just go out and just have fun and just do anything you can to help your team.
That was a really awesome moment, and I'm sure you will remember that for a long time. How difficult, or how did you manage this uh, increased notoriety, and so that sort of announced that you were maybe for real and going to be a player of impact, and then that built throughout the season, and now you're in the middle of your freshman year with all the dynamics that has of just the difficulty of a freshman year for a normal freshman,
Yeah.
much less. Now they start saying, "Hey, you may go number one in the draft. You're um, only going to be there for a year." I know. As a former coach, I'm just thinking like, man, this is a lot for a player to go through.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that and how you successfully, because obviously you stayed focused and you kept playing well. How did you successfully stay focused on what you needed to do?
Yeah. So a lot of that I have to give credit to mom and dad. Um, they did a lot of stuff while I was at Kentucky and that I didn't really know about. And that was for me. They were doing that so I wouldn't have to worry about it. So I wouldn't see something that people are saying, and like me and mom and dad never talked once about the NBA, never talked about what everybody was saying. Like if I brought it up or like was getting close, like they would switch subjects or just kind of ignore me, and we never had a conversation until the season was over. And I think that, to me, that was a big thing because the whole year I was not worried about me. I was worried about working and getting better and just being there for the team. The goal wasn't I didn't go to obviously I wanted to be in the NBA, but I went to Kentucky to win a championship. And I was still at Kentucky and I wanted to do that. I wanted to be on a really good team and win a championship. So just being able to stay in like a steep state of gratitude during the whole year and just have fun and not worry about what everybody was saying, whether it was really good or if it was bad. Just staying focused and locked in to the team and just being the best player that I could be for my team.
In the book Ready to Win, I write about there's three ways to lead, and one of those ways is to lead with integrity and lead by example. And it sounds like your parents did that for you. They set a great example for you and helped you stay focused. That's awesome. So now you move through a national freshman of the year, SEC freshman of the year, highly regarded prospect. So you make the decision to go to the NBA. And so, what was that preparation like, and trying to figure out how you needed to present yourself well for the NBA? Was it multiple workouts? Was it just the combine? Talk to us about the lead up to the draft.
Yeah, well, it was a long lead up. That 3 to 4 months felt like forever because after the decision was made, and that was a big decision. It took a while to make that decision. A lot of phone calls, a lot to make that decision. And then when you do make the decision, you have I think it was like 4 months or so until the draft. And that felt like a year because now you're thinking about, what's gonna happen. I've already went out of college. Now but it was awesome. But no, I actually went to California for about 2 months. 2 to 3 months to for the whole pre-draft, and I was just in California. I was waking up, I would go eat, I would lift, I would get treatment, I would work out on the court, get more treatment, eat, and that was the day. So for about 2 months straight, it was just getting your body prepared, getting your mind prepared for the next level. And it was all for the combine, all for the workouts that you were about to go do for these NBA teams. It was preparing you for all of that. So that was really cool for me because it was different. It was a different type of preparing. At home, I would go and shoot and lift a little bit with dad. Here, you're eating what they have you eat, you're doing treatment, you're lifting, you're doing hot yoga, you're doing ice tubs, like, on everything is so much different, so much more advanced, but it all goes back to just the same thing as getting you prepared for that next step and going in every day and just doing the same thing and then creating a habit. So it was definitely a long process, but it was so much fun. And I worked out for 5 teams, and in all my workouts, I felt like I couldn't have been more prepared for the workouts just from doing what I was doing in California for a couple months. And the workouts were all really good. It was a lot of fun doing that. And then the same thing at the combine. We had went over everything we were going to do at the combine in California. So I was prepared for it. I knew exactly what was coming. I knew what was next. So it was just that was a big thing for me is that where I was so prepared, nothing caught me off guard. I was confident in everything that I was doing because I knew exactly what I was doing before they told me what I was doing because we had worked on it so much.
The world class preparation that you had that freed you up to go do your best. So you could just go turn it loose and you knew you had that confidence that you could go do it. That is awesome. So, for people that don't know, London, Kentucky is a small town. It's not like London, England, which is a big city. Growing up in a small town, and now the draft night's here, and uh, give us some of the highlights of what it had to have felt, or how you felt being at the draft. It's such a huge event and so much attention to it. What was draft night like for you and your family?
Yeah, it was awesome. It's something that we'll definitely never forget. It just happened to be June 26th was his mom's birthday too. So it was draft night, but it was also mom's birthday. I had probably 50 to 60 family members that came to the draft. So after we had like a little after party and we're celebrating the draft and mom's birthday. So it was just an unbelievable night. And it's funny you saying from a small town in London because then I got drafted to Houston, and Houston's like the 4th largest city in the world. So it's completely different. It's kind of funny. People ask me how far I am from the facility, and I'm like 15 minutes, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's super close." I'm like, "Yeah, it's 5 miles though." They're like, "Oh, that's really close." And I'm like, "That doesn't make sense because at home, you say you're 5 miles away, you're like 4 or 5 minutes away, not
Right,
20
right.
minutes away." So it's funny listening to everyone talk about, like, the time and all that stuff, but I just wanted I that made me laugh when you said a small town because I've said that so much to my friends, just how it's so much different here, like, going places, it always takes, like, 15 minutes, and 15 minutes at home is a
Yeah,
long way,
yeah,
uh,
exactly.
but no, I mean, draft night was awesome, it was an unbelievable experience.
That's amazing. So, as you look into this season, same approach, just trying to stay prepared and not putting a lot of expectations. Let's talk about what you're looking forward to in your rookie season with the Houston Rockets.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it all. It's new. You can watch a college season and kind of know what you're gonna have to do. You travel to games, but NBA you travel so much. Like
Mm,
you go back to backs, you'll be in Utah and then fly to Tennessee and play. Like, there's so many games, there's so much travel that comes with it, and, I think that'll be something I have to prepare for, preparing my body for all the flights and all the games that you play. I mean, you play 30, 40 games in college. That's not even half of what you play in the NBA. So like it's just everything is so much it's going to be different. It's going to be faster. So just continuing to do the little things that I've always done, get in the gym and work out and play hard and do all that. But at the same time, just getting your body and your mind prepared so when that does happen, it doesn't catch you off guard. You don't hurt yourself. You're always ready and prepared for what's next.
Last question, Reed. You've talked a lot about your parents and the impact they've made. Anybody else that stands out that helped you understand preparation or gave you something that you could share with our audience about preparation that stands out to you?
Yeah, I think, the main 2 would be our mom and dad. Um, they prepare for everything, whether it's basketball or just life in general. I mean, dad has a Sunday school class at church, and it's like Wednesday or Tuesday of that week, and you're like, "Dad, what are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm getting a message ready for Sunday." And you'll see him like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday preparing just for that 1 hour of class that he teaches on Sunday. So, like, it's not even just with basketball, it's just, like, in everyday life with him and mom, just everything they do is they don't go at anything not prepared. They
Mm,
prepare for everything, um, and, my whole family's like that, so I get it. I see it every day. Anytime we do something, I can always see how prepared they are for everything, and then I can just learn from them, and they don't even know. They don't tell me. I can just see how they're acting or see what they're doing. But then I had an AAU coach, my last 3 years that I played AAU. His name is Brooke Cups, and the way that he goes about everything is really crazy of how prepared he is. He actually is a high school coach, for Centerville, Ohio, and his son, Gabe Cups, is my best friend. He's playing at Indiana. He'll be a sophomore at Indiana, and, um, his things, like this is so like AAU, nobody watches film, nobody right? You just go out and play.
yeah,
Uh, our first practice, we sat down with, like, journals and, like, wrote down stuff for the season about, like, ourselves and just stuff like that, just preparing for not just basketball, just for everything.
mm,
We would watch film before every game on the other team, like scouting them like it's high school.
yeah.
Um, and you said, like, how sometimes it's so simple, but it's the best. And his 2 keys on offense, he only said one thing. He said, just be simple and together."
Wow.
And that was his 2 mottos on offense. Um, and just seeing how prepared he was for something that nobody else prepares for. I think it's easy to be prepared if everybody's preparing, but if nobody is preparing, to still prepare to go out and do what you know you can do and to help your team or your family or whoever it is be the best version of themselves that they can be.
Wow. That's so powerful. Thank you for sharing that. There's been a lot of really, really great players come through Kentucky and a lot of high draft choices, but I want to let our audience know not only are you such a talented basketball player and productive, but you're as a person just one of the great, great people that have come through. The way that you are so faithful and just real proud of you, and you're a credit to your family. You're a credit to the state of Kentucky and certainly the Kentucky Wildcats. And I'm sure I speak for everyone that's watching this. We just wish you all the best and can't wait to see what this next part of the journey looks like. And I think what we found out, you'll definitely be prepared for this. So, Reed, we can't thank you enough. Wishing you all the best this year.
Yes, sir. Thank you, coach.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that time that Reed Shepard and I were able to spend together. What a remarkable young man. And I wanted to share with you 3 things that I learned about Reed and from Reed that I wanted to point out to you. Number 1, don't stop trying to be your best when you get to the highest level. And that speaks to something that we're passionate about teaching here with the Coach Matthew Mitchell Show, is sustaining success. Sustained success is when you are able to repeat success over and over. And that's what I loved about that statement that Reed shared with us. Just keep going, keep learning, keep growing, keep finding out and reviewing what's helped you be successful. Keep learning from all of the things that didn't go your way that are strengthening your leadership journey. So I love that input from Reed. Number 2, what is something you can do to help your team? Have the mindset of how you can help your team rather than how your team can help you. And I just thought that was so wise about being of service to others and setting your people up for success by serving them. And I really love that Reed shared that, and that made me think. And I think that's a great piece of information to ponder on to help fuel our leadership journey. And something that I've been teaching a lot lately with the book, Ready to Win, and we discuss in the book, Reed said, try to be your best, not the best. And that is so wise for someone that young and at the very beginning of his professional basketball career. There's so many people and so many players that he could try to compare himself to. And that's the same thing for us in business and wherever we are. There's so many people we could compare ourselves to. And what I've found is that comparison really becomes a curse on us. And when we compare ourselves to other people, a lot of times we start to focus on what we don't have and what other people do have. And so that's rooted in a perfectionist mindset. And so we've, in the book, really try to talk about trading perfection and that thought of being perfect to just chasing and pursuing excellence each and every day. And where perfection in my life has really tends to paralyze me and slow down my productivity when I have a perfectionist mindset. When I've learned to embrace excellence, excellence really points out to me all of the opportunities that are all around me to accomplish what I need to accomplish. And excellence ends up exhilarating me. And so I love that insight from Reed. Try to be your best, not the best. Unbelievable wisdom from a very young leader who's at the beginning of a professional journey. But man, I don't care where you are on your journey, we can learn a lot from Reed Shepard. So we appreciate Reed's insight, and I hope you enjoyed that on the Coach Matthew Mitchell Show. Please check us out at CoachMatthewMitchell.com. You can find us there, and we can step into your life, book a call, and let's figure out how we can help you move forward with the winning tools, honesty, hard work, and discipline. Find out everything at CoachMatthewMitchell.com. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the Coach Matthew Mitchell Show. We're here with you each and every Wednesday. We have an episode for you, and just appreciate you always stopping by. Please subscribe. If you're on Apple Podcasts and get the show through that, please leave us a review. And we love coming to you every Wednesday. We'll be back next Wednesday. See you then on the Coach Matthew Mitchell Show.